What is the best Fortnite season of all time? Now, this is not a new question in the Fortnite community. I've seen a million people make this same video and everyone has their opinion on what season is the best, but it's just that, an opinion. The question we should be asking instead is what makes a season the best season? And after a lot of thought, I've come up with 5 characteristics that embody a great Fortnite season. And using these characteristics, I determined what are the actual top 7 best Fortnite seasons of all time. The first characteristic is the loot pool. What weapons did that season have to offer and how exciting were they to use? The second is the overall theme of that season and its battle pass. Number 3 is the map and POIs that season had to offer and how well they flowed together. Number 4 is overall game impact. How much of this season's influence still exists in the game we play today? And number 5 is by far the most important of these characteristics, but we're going to come back to that one a little bit later. At number 7, we've got Chapter 3 Season 1. Now, if I'm being honest, this is my favorite Fortnite season of all time. I mean, Spider-Man in the battle pass, the return of tilted towers, dynamic weather that affects gameplay, being able to kill people with a tree. When I think of peak Fortnite, this was it. I'm sure if you ask anyone in the community, Chapter 3 Season 1 is one of their favorite seasons of all time. And how could it not be? It had one of the best Season 1 maps of any chapter with iconic POIs like the Daily Bugle, Rocky Reels, and even the return of some classics like Tilted Towers and Greasy Grove. And the loot pool felt like a modernized version of the OG weapons, with the auto shotgun as the new tac, the Stinger SMG as an upgraded version of the old SMG, and of course, the MK7 assault rifle. Now, today we have entire bunkers dedicated to weapon attachments, but the MK7 was the first of its kind. This gun perfected the first-person experience that guns like the scoped AR had failed at in the past by not only being able to deliver in medium and long-range scenarios, but also being a reliable spray weapon in close-quarter situations. The MK7 really did pave the way for a lot of the weapons that we know and love today. But we can't talk about the loot pool without mentioning the most obvious MVP of the season, the Spider-Man Mythics. These were hands down one of the best and funnest mobility items to ever touch the game of Fortnite, spawning tons of insane trick shots and of course the memes about how Fortnite had better swinging mechanics than the actual Spider-Man game. And although this season had some amazing items, it definitely had its downfalls, with the striker shotgun feeling like the Dollar Tree version of the OG pump and the sniper being an obvious downgrade from the heavy sniper. And even with it being the introduction of game-changing mechanics that we still use today, like sight attachments and sliding, it still comes nowhere close to the game-changing impact of our next season. Chapter 3, Season 2, Resistance. Now, you want to talk about impact? How about 500,000 brand new loyal players impact? This season did the unthinkable, removing building from the game entirely for 2 whole weeks. Just when you thought Epic Games couldn't get any crazier, they removed the entire mechanic that made their game popular and unique in the first place. This was obviously the spawn of the zero build game mode that we know today, and to say it was a wild success would be a massive understatement. Finally, a way for brand new players to get into the game without having to master the building and editing mechanics and getting absolutely eaten alive by the sweats. Still to this day, you can log on to Fortnite, and at any given moment, the zero build game mode will have just as many players, if not more, than the regular Battle Royale. And for the people who are hardcore Fortnite fans before this, you finally had a way to convince your friends to hop on the game with you because, according to them, building was stupid. And if that wasn't enough game-changing implementations for you, this was also the season that we seen the introduction of tactical sprint and mantling, 2 of the most heavily used mechanics in the game today. We did lose the MK7 for a short time in the beginning of the season, but its replacement did not disappoint. The new and improved Striker Burst Assault Rifle, and still to this day, this weapon is regarded as one of the best assault rifles to ever touch the game. Unfortunately, as strong of a start as this season had, it wasn't quite able to hold up in a lot of other places. The Battle Pass felt pretty weak with a couple of good back blinks and loading screens, but no iconic skins or gliders outside of Doctor Strange, which, in my opinion, isn't that great. And we also seen the introduction of tanks this season, and as we know today, having to fight against overpowered vehicles just isn't that much fun. But one season that definitely did not lack in battle pass skins is the next one on our list. Chapter 2, Season 4, Nexus War. Thor, She-Hulk, Dr. Doom, Iron Man, Storm, Groot, Wolverine, and Mystique. This might actually be the greatest Fortnite Battle Pass of all time. This might actually be the greatest Battle Pass of any game that will ever exist forever. And trust me when I say the Battle Pass was not even close to the greatest thing about this season. To start, we got the return of the pump shotgun after having to suffer through an entire season with the sad excuse for a weapon that the charged shotgun was. And we also got over 10 different Marvel-themed mythics in this one season. And these mythics really paved the way for a lot of the crazy items like Zeus's Thunderbolt that we've seen over the last couple years. Before this, pretty much every mythic item was just an incredibly powerful version of an already existing weapon in the loot pool, with a couple exceptions like Batman's Batarang, which was pretty underwhelming, and of course the Infinity Gauntlet, Mythic Goldfish, and Infinity Blade, which arguably felt more like overpowered meme items than anything else. But these mythics were the birth of a new Fortnite era. Things like the Deku Smash, the Hollow Purple, and the Kamehameha would have never existed without these items first paving the way. Outside of that, the loot pool wasn't anything too crazy, with a couple of standouts like the Stark Energy Rifle and the return of the Boogie Bomb. But one thing that definitely sets this season apart from any other is the map. The Chapter 2 map is by far one of the greatest Fortnite maps to ever exist. I mean, we had steamy stacks that could send you flying into the air and gliding across half the map, slurpy swamps where you could get full shield by literally swimming in a pond, sweaty sands, which is by far one of my favorite landing spots of all time, and Coral Castle, which we're just going to pretend like never existed. And for new POIs, we got Doom's Domain, which was a way upgraded version of Pleasant Park, and Stark Industries, which would have been a little bit better if it wasn't an entire island with only one building on it. I mean, this map was pretty close to perfect, but it was missing just one thing: the agency. Chapter 2, Season 2 is probably the most agreed upon best season of all time by pretty much the entire community. The already amazing Chapter 2 map was expanded on with some of the most iconic POIs of all time, with the Shark, the Rig, the Grotto, the Yacht, and of course, the agency. But what made these POIs so special was their respective bosses. See, this was the birth of a critical part of the Battle Royale game mode that we've seen in every single season beyond this point. An opportunity to land at an incredibly contested POI, fight to be the last player standing for the chance to take on that location's boss and his henchmen, and your reward for victory? The key to a giant vault full of amazing loot and one of the most powerful weapons in the entire game. The perfect balance of risk and reward. After many attempts, Epic Games finally perfected the formula for what a mythic weapon should be. An incredibly powerful version of an already existing weapon, only available at one location on the map, and there was only one of each kind in every single match. And to add to the experience of this season, every single one of these bosses had an incredible backstory that played a massive part in the Fortnite storyline, and you could play as each and every one of them for the small price of 950 V-Bucks. But all jokes aside, this battle pass was a banger. Midas, Agent Peely, and Meowscles alone made the battle pass worth it. It went on to be some of the most iconic Fortnite characters of all time. Still to this day, we're getting variants of all three of these guys. But just in case the literal best Fortnite battle pass of all time wasn't enough, this was also the first season that Epic introduced secret skins. And our first secret skin of all time was none other than Deadpool. And see, back then we had interactive battle passes, and Deadpool had his own little secret bathroom where you could hop onto his computer, check out some of the secret quests, and even play a Deadpool mini game. Why did they ever get rid of this? And speaking of things they got rid of, the shakedown feature introduced in this season, combined with having to carry the henchmen to unlock doors and chests, were some of the coolest mechanics in any game I've ever played. On top of all the insane new features this season had to offer, we also got the return of the heavy sniper and the addition of the rapid fire SMG to the loot pool, two of the greatest weapons in the history of Fortnite, as well as decoy grenades, which were pretty forgettable but definitely made for some funny moments. But one thing no one will ever forget about this season is the choppers. These were hands down the coolest vehicle that have ever been added to Fortnite. But as amazing as this season was, none of these things would have ever been possible without having a foundation to build them on, which is why the next spot on our list is one of the most important pieces in the history of Fortnite. See, every season we've talked about so far has made strides in the progression of this game and have all played a huge part in creating the Fortnite that we know today. But none of them played a bigger part in shaping the future of Fortnite than Chapter 1, Seasons 1 through 8. I really wanted to try to narrow this down to just 1 or 2 seasons, but pretty much all of Chapter 1 played a massive part in constructing what is now the biggest game of all time. See, Season 1 was the birth of Fortnite Battle Royale, and without that, we would have nothing. But looking back at everything from the UI to the graphics to even the map, you can see this game would have been nowhere near what it is today without major innovation. Then you look at Seasons 3, 4, and 5, which took the world by storm. This was the time when every single person you knew was playing this game. And Epic Games capitalized on this moment in a way we've seen no game developer do before, constantly adding new crazy weapons like Rift-to-Goes, Junk Rifts, Boogie Bombs, Shockwaves, Chug Jugs, Porta-Forts, Jetpacks, Shopping Carts, even a bush. These were not the run-of-the-mill shooting game items by any means. Between this crazy loophole innovation and the constant map changes, Epic Games proved to the world that Fortnite had something special. In Seasons 6, 7, and 8 only continued this trend, getting us more invested in the storyline and pushing the limits even further with planes, hoverboards, boomboxes, hurricanes, and even a mythic sword, proving Fortnite was here to stay. Although we can't talk about Chapter 1 without mentioning one of the most special things that will ever exist in gaming history: Fortnite live events. But before we expand on that, I want to go back to those 5 important characteristics that we talked about before, with the first 4 obviously being map, theme, loot pool, and impact. But number 5, like I said, is by far the most important of these characteristics, and that is experience. Let me explain. When I ask you, the viewer, the person watching this video, why is your favorite season your favorite season? Maybe you loved the map and the POIs that season had to offer. Maybe it was the loot pool or a specific weapon that you loved using. Maybe it was a collab you've been waiting for years that finally came to the game. Or maybe none of that actually matters, and it was just the last time that you and your friends couldn't wait to get home, hop on the game, and create those amazing memories that will last forever. Because truly, that's what made Fortnite so special. There has never been another game or piece of media in history that brought the world together the way Fortnite did. Before there were sweats, before the millions of dollars in tournaments, before being the next big YouTuber or streamer was on anybody's mind, before any of that, everyone just played Fortnite because it was fun.
Nick, what's the game called? It's called Fortnite. It's free. 450. What a game!
I know all of us have experienced a time like that with this game, and maybe that time for you is right now. And if it is, cherish it, because myself and a lot of other Fortnite players can tell you that's what makes this game special. And unfortunately, it doesn't last forever. And for a lot of us that started playing Fortnite in those early seasons, these live events were a massive part of the magic that brought the community together. And that's why I want to put Season OG at number 2. See, there's a running comment in the community of everyone only just wants OG Fortnite back all the time. And there is some truth to that, don't get me wrong, but it's not for the reasons that you think. It's not because we don't like change or we don't like the new items and the direction Epic Games is taking Fortnite. It's not because we hate the new map, and it's definitely not because of the loot pool, but it's because a lot of us first started playing this game in the early seasons of Chapter 1, and to us, this isn't when the game was at its best, but instead when our experiences with this game were at their best. It's when all of our friends were online playing this game, when getting a victory royale felt like the most exciting thing in the world, when live events felt like a moment where the whole entire world just stopped, just to tune in and watch a giant bear robot fight an ice monster. See, Season OG captures a small piece of this, and even if just for a second, takes us back to how we felt when we first started playing this game. And that's why I'm excited they're bringing Chapter 2 as the OG season this year, because there is a whole generation behind me who went through these same feelings and experiences when they first started playing this game with their friends during this time. And that brings us to number 1. What is the best Fortnite season of all time? Well, That's up to you to decide.